and V is equal to 0 when we have small r equal to capital R. That means when we are on the surface of the sphere, the potential is 0. So the expression of the potential which I have written down here, this is satisfying the first boundary condition, that is on the surface of the sphere the potential should go to 0. Now we will see what happens to the next boundary condition. Now it can be seen easily, that is when small r tends to infinity, when small r tends to infinity, the denominators goes to, see, if you make small r going to infinity here and here also, this denominator will be very large, this denominator will be very large, so v tends to 0. So when small r tends to infinity, v tends to 0. So what do we see? We see that this expression of the potential is satisfying our two boundary conditions, and also this term implies that we have a point charge q situated at a distance of small s from the center of the sphere. So from the corollary of first uniqueness theorem, we can say that this is our required potential, because corollary of first uniqueness theorem says that if the charge density in a region is known and the value of potential on the surface of the boundary is given, then there will be a unique function, only a single function, which will satisfy the two boundary conditions and also agree with the charge density given. So this potential is agreeing with the two boundary conditions and also agree with the fact that we have a point charge q at a distance of small s from the center of the sphere. So this is the potential outside the conducting sphere. So this we can say it boldly on the basis of first uniqueness theorem. So this is our answer, that is, this is the potential outside the conducting sphere. Okay. Now our question is, what is the see, in the original problem I have a conducting sphere and I have a plus q charge here, it is grounded. Now this is a conducting sphere, so this q will induce some charge on this conducting sphere. So we want to know what is the surface induced charge density, because induced charges will lie on the surface. So what is the surface charge density, and also what is the net induced charge, that we want to know. So what is the surface charge density of the induced charges? And also what is the net induced charge, that we will calculate. Okay. Now the surface charge density, we know it is given by this expression. In our earlier case also we calculated the surface charge density. So induced surface charge density, induced surface charge density sigma is given as minus epsilon 0, then normal derivative of the potential. Normal means normal to the surface of this sphere. So normal direction is the direction of small r. Normal direction means direction of small r. So normal derivative means del v del r we have to calculate, and these induced charges are on the surface, so we have to put it at small r equal to capital R. We have to calculate this by using this expression. Okay. Now we will calculate now first let us calculate del v del r. Now what is del v del r? Del v del r is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 bracket. Now here I have a root in the denominator, so minus half divided by bracket r square plus s square minus 2rs cos theta. This will be to the power 3 by 2. Then we will have 2 small r, then minus 2s cos theta. So we have differentiated this term. Now I will differentiate this term. So here also we have a root in the denominator. So and here we have a minus sign, so that this minus and so make it plus. So plus half in the denominator we will have r square plus rs by capital R whole square minus 2rs cos theta. This will be to the power 3 by 2. Then I have to differentiate this term. See, here I have, so here I will have 2r, then s by r whole square. Here I will have minus 2s cos theta. So this is our expression of del v del r. Okay. Now you can see this 2 and this 2 will cancel with this 2, and this 2 and this 2 will cancel with this 2. So I can write down so let me rub it also. So sigma is equal to minus epsilon 0. That epsilon 0 will cancel with, so minus epsilon 0 del v del r. Now at small r equal to capital R we want to know. Now this epsilon 0 will cancel with this epsilon 0, and this minus will make it plus, and this will be minus, and 2 we will cancel, so bracket. Now in place of small r I will put capital R, because we need small r at small r equal to capital R. So capital R minus s cos theta divided by r square plus s square minus 2 capital Rs cos theta whole to the power 3 by 2. Okay. Then I will have minus sign, because this minus will make this plus sign to be minus. Now these two cancels. Now if you put small r equal to capital R, in the denominator I have capital R square, so it will be s square by capital R. So s square by capital R minus s cos theta, 2 will cancel. So this divided by r square plus, now if you put capital R here, this R will cancel, so I will have s square minus 2 capital Rs cos theta. So bracket close. Okay, now I will simplify this. Okay, now see, this R I can multiply with this, so this is equal to, so one thing we have not written 1 by 4 pi, so I have 1 by 4 pi here, 1 by 4 pi, because epsilon 0 has cancelled out, so equal to 1 by 4 pi okay, bracket r minus s cos theta divided by r square plus s square minus 2 rs cos theta, okay, then minus, it will be s square minus rs cos theta divided by r into, here bracket close, r into r square plus s square minus 2rs cos theta whole to the power 3 by 2, bracket close. Okay, now I can take the LCM, so 1 by 4 pi, now LCM is r square plus s square minus 2rs cos theta multiplied by 1r, this r. So in the numerator I will have to multiply this quantity by this r, so I will have r square minus rs cos theta minus s square plus rs cos theta. Okay, so we can see that this term cancels, so we have sigma is equal to r square minus, okay, so one q should be there. I have missed one q. See, q I can take common, so here I should have q. Here also q, that I have taken common, and outside the bracket I have taken q. So sigma is q into r square minus s square divided by capital R into r square plus s square minus 2rs cos theta whole to the power, see here I will have whole to the power 3 by 2. Here also, see here also to the power 3 by 2. Here also to the power 3 by 2. So these corrections you make, please. So here also to the power 3 by 2. So this is the final expression of the induced surface charge density. So 1 4 pi should be there. Okay. So now I think all terms I have taken into account. So this is the expression of induced surface charge density. So let me check. So Q by 4 pi r square minus s square. Yes, it is correct. So this is the expression of induced surface charge density on the surface of the conducting sphere. So we see that it is a function of theta only, because capital R, S all are constants. This is Q is also given. So induced surface charge density is a function of theta. Okay. So now we will calculate the net induced charge. So to calculate the net induced charge, I have to integrate this quantity over the entire surface of the conducting sphere. Okay. Okay. So net induced charge is, say I am calling it to be capital Q, that I have to integrate. See, this is the sphere. Now for doing the integration, we will take one convention, that this is our conducting sphere, this is the center, here I have point charge plus Q. So surface charge density on this surface is given by this expression. Now theta, see this is point P where I have written the potential. So this angle is theta. Okay. Now to perform the integration, that is to calculate the net induced charge, I will take this direction to be the z-axis direction. Z-axis direction. So with this, theta is increasing in this fashion. So I am measuring theta with respect to positive z-axis. So this is our convention. Now for doing the integration, we also should know what is a differential area element on the surface of the sphere. This is suppose ds. Now you know ds is given by rd theta into r sin theta d phi. Phi is the azimuthal angle. So this is equal to r square sin theta d theta d phi. So this is the differential area element on the surface of this sphere. We need this expression. Okay. Now let us do the integration. So Q, capital Q, that is the net induced charge. So we will have to integrate over the entire surface of the sphere. So it will be sigma theta, because sigma is a function of theta. So I have written sigma to be a function of theta. Then the differential area element r square sin theta d theta d phi. Now phi goes from 0 to 2 pi and theta goes from 0 to pi. So this integration we have to perform. Okay. Now you can see that phi integration is very easy. It gives us 2 pi. So capital Q phi integration I am doing it. So that is 2 pi, then divided by this 4 pi r. 4 pi r. I can take also this outside the integration sign. So small q, then r square minus s square. These are constants of the integral. So I will have integration over theta. So this r square also I should take outside the integral sign. So this is, suppose, this r square I have written here. Okay. So theta integration is only sine theta d theta divided by capital R square plus s square minus 2rs cos theta whole to the power 3 by 2. So theta goes from 0 to pi. Okay. So this integration we have to perform. So let me check whether I have taken all the terms. So 4 pi r here, q here, 2 pi is coming from the phi integration, r square I have taken from here, and r square minus s square. Okay. So it is correct. Okay. Now we will do one substitution. So let r square plus s square minus 2rs cos theta to be equal to t. Okay. Then if I differentiate, these are constants. So I will have, see, I have cos theta here. If I differentiate, I will have minus sin theta. That minus will make this minus plus. So we will have 2rs sin theta d theta, that is equal to dt. Okay. And also when theta is equal to 0, cos 0 is 1, so I will have t equal to r square plus s square minus 2rs. So when theta equal to 0, t is equal to r square plus s square minus 2rs. So this is equal to r minus s whole square. And when